Well, what we're going to do is, and I thank you very much for that, because that really kind of frames the issue for us, and I appreciate that. We're going to move along to the other three, and then we're going to come back to a lot of specific questions, and we don't have a lot of time, but I can assure you we're going to ask you a lot of questions touching on things that you said. What I'd like to now actually is talk about one of the great things that we have, and that's from Leslie and the executive director of the Trinity Center, and we're looking for positives. And so I'd like Leslie just to address us and talk about the positives of what the Trinity Center is. I know Jaime just mentioned it as one of the, unfortunately, the two, one in Richmond and one here. And if we had a Trinity Center in every city, it certainly would help us, but not solve the problem completely. So if Leslie, you could talk to us about the Trinity Center and certainly your new partnership with Loaves and Fishes in all. Thank you.
I would be delighted to, and hopefully this will work with the screen share right now. There we go. Great. Come back here. All right. Hopefully everybody can see that. Okay. Terrific. For some reason, I can't get rid of all the stuff on the other side. There we go. All right. So welcome to the new and beautiful jewel of our home at 1888 Trinity Avenue, where we are delighted to be part of what can happen anywhere. Well, maybe not anywhere, but in a community where there is a commitment to making sure people have opportunities and an ability to think out of the box and bundle up resources in the way that Walnut Creek has really distinguished itself to be, to create affordable housing with opportunities and room for services, not only services for people, quote unquote, in need, but for the rest of the community. So here is how you would approach 1888 Trinity Avenue. On the left-hand side, there is St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Far to the back, there's Walnut Creek Presbyterian Church. And on the right is St. Paul's Commons, which is 3 floors of housing, affordable for a number of different people in different income brackets and with different challenges in their lives. And then as you approach Trinity Center, you come down this walkway and you'll see the beautiful patio that we get to enjoy. I love to look at this building and think that this is the building that Love and Commitment built, because it really has been a community effort to make sure that our most vulnerable members and neighbors have a place to live, which has been, oh my goodness, such an incredible timing. Many of the people who were able to move in and get settled in just before COVID hit in early 2020. So they were literally able to shelter in place. But for the rest of the people who weren't able to shelter in place, Trinity Center was their home for the time. And this is the approach to Trinity Center. What you'll see now also is a couple of wash stations, compliments of the city and the county, to make sure that throughout the COVID pandemic, people have been able to do safe hygiene. And when you come in, oops, there we go. Just a little background about Trinity Center. It started as an outgrowth of some people at St. Paul's in the early 2000s. And then as that group decided to, that it wasn't able to continue the operations, another group of people in the community said, hey, we're seeing this growing issue of homelessness in Walnut Creek. We need to make sure there's services and resources. So people came together under the leadership of Donna Colombo and others and created Trinity Center in 2012. And ever since then, we've been developing programs and innovative ideas to address the complexity of homelessness and people living in poverty. But no matter what, from the beginning and forever, what we pride ourselves on at Trinity Center is that we are about building a community and being part of this community. We have 3 expectations of ourselves and our members: that we respect ourselves, our community, and our neighbors. There's no aggression of any type, physical or verbal, tolerated whatsoever. And because so many people who seek refuge at Trinity Center are dealing with substance issues, no matter whether they're legal or illegal, no substances are able to be used at Trinity Center, including alcohol and non-prescription drugs. And we're really clear on that as well. And this is part of part of what makes Trinity Center successful and a safe haven for people. But it's also, honestly, part of why Trinity Center is not the resource for everybody, because sometimes for reasons people can or can't control, they can't always meet these expectations. So people are always welcome, but we do have a high bar. We're not just a place where you can kind of hang out and do whatever and act however you want, because we've got great opportunities here and we want to make sure people have the resources they need. So we serve meals, breakfast and lunch, and thank you, Matt. Our partnership with Loaves and Fishes Contra Costa has been so special to us. They've not only helped make sure that our members have meals, but now we're opening up to welcome the entire community of our neighbors who might want a hot, healthy lunch every weekday, which is when we're open, 8 to 4 every Monday through Friday. No questions asked, just come and eat. You know, we know that food is fundamental to all our well-being. So we are really happy about that partnership and other partnerships that we have with White Pony Express, with the food bank, because we don't feel Trinity Center has to do it all or can do it all alone, but we want to be a place where we bring the resources locally to the community. Because as Jaime said, homelessness is a regional issue and it's going to need regional solutions, but it's also very local. The people tend to stay where they grew up. And so it's not people who have, decided to come from New York to take advantage of all the opportunities here in the Bay Area that are the homeless population. It's people who grew up here and ran into all sorts of challenges and issues leading to them being homeless. This is what really makes Trinity Center stand out. We've got the opportunity for people to stay clean and safe and healthy with our showers, with the ability to do laundry, because obviously we don't want anybody in our community to be unclean or unkempt. And there's the price of our laundry, which is an awfully nice thing. And we can offer services free because of the generous contributions we get from individuals and groups across the spectrum, for which we're so grateful. Our meeting room is equipped with socially distanced space and storage lockers so that members can safely tuck away their belongings while they're taking a shower or enjoying lunch. And what really makes me so proud of Trinity Center is it's beautiful. It was designed to be beautiful, to be warm and welcoming and calming, and really a place that anybody would want to be. So there's a snapshot of our day room with our TV monitor that we use for workshops, for updates and service announcements, even sometimes some fun movies just to lift everybody's spirits. Of course, COVID affected us, and we do everything differently now because of COVID, but we're getting through it. And I want to point out, I was when we talk about the low rate of positivity in terms of COVID among the homeless population, that's not missed by our unhoused neighbors and our people who are experiencing. I was having a conversation with them just the other day that, wow, isn't that really something that you would think the people experiencing homelessness would have a higher rate of positivity, but somehow together we've managed to keep that low. And isn't that interesting? And let's keep doing what we're doing to keep each other safe. It was really an awesome moment because the people who are our members are not just passive recipients of service, they're active members of the community, and they're thinking and caring and feeling and wanting to be, have their lives be more like how they'd like them to be. So we build community. We're here about all our friends and family with this beautiful space that we have. And we're about a community. We're about people helping each other in times of need, which could be any of us, which is why Trinity Center exists, because it could be any of us, or a friend, or a neighbor, or a niece, or a nephew, or our grandchild who may need the services of Trinity someday to just get back on their feet and get reconnected with everything that makes for a happy, healthy life. So we are so proud to be here, and I look forward to the rest of the conversation.